Oh, it's time. Time to get radical.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to Radical Comment of the Week for January 10th through January 16th, 2022. These are the very best comments from that time period, starting out with the three honorable mentions. We have Fatal Vision, The Winged Avenger, and Art Bell. The bronze medal comes to us from MBK Silent. Hey Rick, did you hear about this one? Hey Andy, did you hear about this one? Some reality star named Stephanie Matto was selling her farts in a jar and selling them for $1,000 each, and they sold out. She was then hospitalized for trying to keep up with the demand, so she made NFT farts instead. I don't know, some JPEG images of fart jars, and made $200,000 off of it. This really makes me sad that people actually buy into this crap. It reminds me of Belle Delphine selling her bath water. Have these girls no shame. She will be forever known as the fart girl. Look the story up, it's really interesting. Well, I did look that story up. And I'll read you this bit from Rolling Stone. Did Rolling Stone actually do a feature on this person? Yeah, they actually did an interview. She said, I think there's a lot of different elements in buying a fart jar. It's not just the scent. People really like the novelty of it. Some of them do have fart fetishes, and a lot of them ask me to make videos of myself farting in the jar before I send it out. But I think a lot of them just want the full experience. They like the idea that they're receiving something that's just for me, that I took the time to write a letter for them. I include a photo. I leave a nice little kiss on the photo for every customer. With the packaging and everything, I take a lot of pride in it, and I put a lot of effort into making everything look and feel special for the people who are ordering it. So, what's particularly disgusting about that, other than the fact she's farting in a jar, is the fact that these days, no one seems to really appreciate and respect other people's money. Now, there are men that are into financial domination, and that's kind of sad. So, you have the sugar baby, sugar daddy dynamic, but online, they're into something called financial domination, meaning that they will spend their entire life savings. They will earn it, then they'll spend it. I don't really understand the fetish. It seems very stupid, but just thinking about that for a second, okay? Like, I get and I understand that people have fetishes, but at what point do you actually, if you're this person farting in, a jar, I mean, it's one thing to take it seriously and actually have this interview with Rolling Stone and say, well, it's personal and I put a kiss on here. I'm like, no, you dumb bitch, excuse my language, you dumb bitch. Well, she's not dumb, I guess. She's making a lot of money. You conniving, maniacal bitch. You are using men in one of the most obscene ways possible. She probably feels nothing. She probably feels nothing about it. She probably thinks she's actually doing them a service. You're not doing them a service at all. You're farting in a jar. And by the time it even gets to them, I'm pretty sure the smell of the fart's going to be gone. I mean, I don't care if you have it in the heat. I mean, I'm not a scientist, but, with the shipping and whatnot, I mean, this was the third best comment of the week. It was, not taking it away. My apologies. I'm just a bit disgusted thinking about that, the whole situation, and the fact that she made $200,000 off of JPEG images. Now, we've talked a lot about e-beggars in the past, but, I will say it, for at least YouTube e-beggars, at least they're uploading something to get their donations. This bitch is just farting in a jar and then making little JPEGs when she can't even fart in the jar. Oh, that's the aspect. Before I go into the next thing, the next comment, she was hospitalized for too much farting. I mean, serves her ass right, I would say. Because she had a diet of cabbage, some other things, for the business of farting in a jar, I'm sure her parents are, well, I would say her parents are proud, but you know what? She probably bought her parents a new house on all the farting money. This world is crazy, man. This world is crazy. Thank you, MBK Silent. Moving on to the silver medalist, we have Troy Bilka. To your manufactured point, it is interesting he hit on GameCube and Switch, which are two popular things among Nintendo fans. talking about, what's the weasel's name? You know, the weasel, I forget the YouTube channel. You know, the guy that, the weasel man, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Not important to me. That automatically draws an attention no matter what happens. That being said, it is interesting. Oh, Phoenix Reset, the weasel man. That being said, it is interesting to that person. That person would trade like that, considering GameCube is just blowing up in price at the moment, and Switch is just waiting for a system update eventually. Nothing Switch really screams collectible or worth investing in anyways. The SD card type games are just front ends for loading up an installer and the rest to be downloaded online anyway. You still get a physical copy, but one that isn't really playable until you download that patch that will go with it, usually. Anyway, I'd never trade GameCube stuff for modern anything, just doesn't make sense even if you were a collector. Well, it doesn't make sense to trade anything GameCube, specifically a lot of the rare games, which would be, you know, Zelda, the Mario, stuff like that. It's stupid to trade any of that stuff knowing the market. I mean, I know the market is stupid, overly priced for some of these things, but still. The whole setup for that, the Phoenix Resale video, I can't recall a lot from it, but the whole setup was that he was trading a Switch to this guy for his entire GameCube collection. Even if that was real, which it wasn't. It was planned. Even if that was real, then, I mean, it wasn't real, so what you want me to say? Like, it was set up. I guess the idea is that he is so slick and so sly because he got an entire GameCube collection for a Switch. So what are we supposed to applaud him for his craftiness or basically ripping someone off? See, if you're a person that knows what these GameCube games are valued at, knows what that collection is valued at, unless it's maybe double, let's say you have a stack of GameCube games that are valued at $600, and then you trade a Switch for that. Okay, that's one thing. But the fact that you look an entire GameCube collection, a lot of games that, you know, just at places like the flea market. Hell, I get people at the flea market asking me, do you have any GameCube games? Do you have any retro games? They go crazy for that kind of stuff. So it was set up. I mean, I agree. Looking at the price, you know, I wouldn't trade a GameCube collection for a Switch. I wouldn't. It doesn't make sense. It plain just doesn't make sense. And those two things, GameCube and Switch, they're very popular. So I talked about manufactured video. Yeah, okay, manufactured. Of course, many of these Switch, these surprise, these game collecting uploads, they are manufactured as part of the YouTube business. There's not any passion there. And also, one of the people that didn't get into Metal Ceremony, Fatal Vision, actually talked about how, you know, many of these YouTubers were just fake with their fake love of retro gaming, and they really didn't care. It's just all put on play for YouTube. Thank you, Troy Bilko. Now, moving on to the shiny gold medal. We got no stranger to comment of the week. It's Juliet India Mobile. I think with most people of his illusionary status come to the realization that the mindless sheep of an audience are fine with reading lame, circulatory Kotaku articles. It hits Spawn Wave, hits RGT. Sure, it hits Dreamcast Guy, and I'm sure it hits Woods as well. So to declare he's done makes little sense. I don't think I've seen or heard him talk about retro in a long time, talking about RGT 85. The only thing he needs to worry about is how he is going to keep relevant when the Switch loses popularity and Nintendo is off to the next thing. Nintendo seems to have this roller coaster with products since past with the NES, N64 blah, GameCube blah, Wii sells well, Wii blah, Switch sells well. By my count, the next Nintendo console won't be looking to set records anytime soon. Either way, what is his channel going to be? More clickbait and Kotaku? Sounds like he's moving in on Rich's news network territory. A lot of things I could go into here. I'm not even sure really what the thumbnail would be for this one. You know, what I'm going to make gold. I could talk about RGT, Rich, or I could talk about the GameCube or the Switch. I'm really not sure at this point. But illusionary status. Yes, let's talk about illusionary status for a moment. And people point to people like RGT, Spawn Wave, and whatnot, and having some status in the retro gaming community. I would say in many cases it is illusionary because the real people that really care about retro gaming, and I take myself out of that. I mean, I don't have a retro game collection. I don't care a lot about retro gaming, just to be transparent. But a lot of the real people you don't even hear about. They're not the Spawn Waves. They're not the RGT85s. The real people that are into retro often don't have huge channels. But you talk about mindless sheep of an audience. Well, I think every YouTube channel has mindless sheep in their audience. There's not a lot of free thinkers. There's not a lot of great commenters everywhere. I luckily have a good bit, yourself included, but there's going to be a percentage of mindless sheep anywhere on YouTube. There is. I have mindless sheep here even. Not as many of these other channels that you mentioned, but they're around. And the thing is, I've touched on this in weeks past. Many of these mindless sheep, they might come here to want me to discuss things on other channels that they are mindless sheep too. Many of the same people that come here and they have criticism of other channels, like let's say Review Tech USA, they actually, I go to a comment section and I see them there reaping praise on Rich, and then they come back here and they criticize them. So that's kind of weird. They come here criticizing RGT85, and then they go there and they reap praise on RGT85. So to that, I would say quit being a mindless sheep and quit, jumping from one YouTube channel to the other. If you don't like something, then don't like it. Don't go there and tell them that they're just wonderful and all their uploads are wonderful, and then come here and actually say something different. That's one thing. But sorry, that's unrelated to your comment. I try to stick specifically to replying to the comment here on Comment of the Week. Now, when you talk about a roller coaster with Nintendo products, there has been a bit of a roller coaster as far as popularity. But right now, ironically, the GameCube is one of the most popular things that there is to collect for when it comes to Nintendo. I have seen, or what I've been asked for specifically, when it comes to what I have as far as retro. People ask me about NES, SNES. They don't ask about the N64 stuff that much. They ask about GameCube. So GameCube is really big. They don't ask about, the Wii U that much. Sometimes people ask if I have Wii games, but yeah, there is kind of a roller coaster, with the Virtual Boy being the end of the roller coaster. I don't even want to bring up Virtual Boy and everything. I think most people forget about that or want to forget about how terrible that was.